Alphabet Man, tearing down the strongholds, exposing the darkness, wrecking the enemy's plans. Endurance till the end. It's time for the Alphabet Man Live.
Good morning, good morning. So, I made it home. I'm safe. I don't know how sound I am, but I'm safe. And all night, and I know I kind of hounded on this yesterday, but all night I thought about what they have there in Iowa, and that is a goal. That is a goal for everybody everywhere. So if you haven't been to the Iowa Huddle, I suggest that you try to make it down there just to see what they have, how they interact, who they are, what they are, and maybe try to replicate that or try to bring some of that home with you, because I certainly would love to see some of that here in Ohio. David Davis, welcome, brother. It's been a while, and I've missed you. So
missed y'all too.
Amen. So there's a few things I want to share this morning. One is this article from the Illinois Family Institute. I've been getting their emails for forever, and every now and then I get one that really touches me and moves me. Like, how about this? Monday, after we went to the state house, to the courthouse, and after we went and spent that time out there standing up for the unborn babies, when we got to the church for fellowship, I got an email from the IFI stating that while everybody is in an uproar all about this New York signing this bill for full-term abortion, they're the 31st state. That made 31 states. And Jared, I didn't send you that link, and I'm gonna look for it as I keep talking. But there are 31 states that already have either that or a very similar law when it comes to abortion, and that should petrify everybody. Yeah, good, thank you. And so, so this is the email that I received, and you can go ahead and throw it up there. And if it is, then I guess I have to click on your screen. Not that one. Yeah, there we go. 31 states permit full-term abortions. So, Lori Higgins, I could talk a lot about Lori Higgins, but she's in it to win it, as they say. She's in this battle, and she's in a whole lot of other battles, and she's standing up. She is truly standing up. So this is why I kept asking myself last week, are so many Americans so livid about Cuomo's signing into law a bill passed jubilantly by the state legislature, mind you, that makes it possible for women to abort full-term babies. Sure, the bill is morally repugnant, and the jubilant applause by the legislature was grotesque, but 23 other states, including Illinois, allow full-term babies to be killed, and for the same reasons. And 7 other states allow full-term babies to be killed for any or no reason. Toward the end of last week, just as outraged pro-life voices were dying down, it came to light that a new bill was proposed in Vermont which many mistakenly believe would legalize unrestricted abortion throughout the entire 9 months of pregnancy. They were mistaken in that unrestricted access to abortion through the entire 9 months of pregnancy has been legal in Vermont since 2014. The bill proposed in Vermont merely enshrines into state law the existing legal right as a fundamental right. Pro-baby killing advocates are preparing for the day Roe versus Wade is overturned. And then this morning, someone sends me the article and the videos, which we saw on Coach Dave about the Virginia bill they're going to pass that will allow the mother and the doctor or the doctor to choose to murder the baby while it's on its way out of the mother. So where does it end? It doesn't. You know, I think about how I was listening to one of Kent Hovind's creation series, and he talked about abortion. And he says, well, why stop there? Why stop at full-term abortion? Why not go further? Why not 2 years old? Why not 6 years old? Why not 18 years old? How about when, you know, in class, and this is, you know, he kind of made it not a joke, because it's not a joke, but he was being real, but a lot of people were like, wow, that's just crazy. And so what he said was, he says, so, you know, how about 16 years old? How about 18? You could choose to abort your child anytime you want for any reason. And so, you know, they'll be sitting in class and hey, teacher, what happened to Johnny? Why isn't Johnny here today? Well, Johnny wouldn't do his homework, so Johnny's mommy and daddy aborted him. Are we going to get to that? How far are we from that? Because there's a whole lot of people out there right now that are applauding and celebrating children, infants, babies, human beings being murdered. But then those same idiots stand up for animals, for an eagle egg, or a whale, or a lion, or an elephant. They stand up for animals, but they won't stand up for a child, an infant, a baby, for a human being. Almost makes me think how many of them. I remember standing outside of Planned Parenthood with Coach Dave one day, and a woman getting out of her car and says, I'm a Christian. And I said, but you're going to go kill your baby. I have lupus. I don't want to put a baby through that. And Coach said, well, then why'd you lay down and have sex? Why did you engage in an activity that could create a life if you weren't going to take responsibility for that life? But it kept hitting me. I said, well, if you're a Christian, then you should believe in the one true living God who is capable of anything, of healing you and that child if the child does come down with something. But she didn't care about that. She went into the building and she murdered her child. I just can't fathom. I can't grasp not one iota of what somebody could possibly think or believe that would make it okay to murder anybody, but a baby, a child. Whether the baby is in the womb or not. It's exactly what the article Coach read this morning called it. It is child sacrifice, and it's getting easier to engage in child sacrifice. And folks, if this doesn't tell you where we're going and where we're heading and where we're at, then you are blind, deaf, and dumb. And I'm not, I don't get mad at the people because they're lost. I'm not going to blame them for being lost. What I don't get are those who claim to be Christian or those who claim to believe in the Word of God, those who know that murdering a baby is wrong, and yet they don't stand up and they don't do anything about it. There are people out there, especially men of God, that have ministries that can travel all over the country to have rallies. These people could very well influence millions of others to stand up, speak out, stand with them, to shut this murdering, this garbage down. There are men like Franklin Graham. There are men like, I can't even name that many of them because I don't really know their theology or their doctrine, but I don't care. They've got millions of people following them, and they claim to think that abortion is wrong and that it's murder, but they're not standing up. They're not telling those who are following them to stand up because, wow, they might offend somebody and chase them away, and they might not get that monthly envelope from them. It seems to me that there are a whole lot of people that are going to hear, "Depart from me, 'cause I never knew you." So I'm encouraged to see what they're doing in Iowa, because Iowa has a governor that is not standing for this. And Iowa's governor is going to start taking some action. Why? Because Iowa has people that aren't afraid to stand up and speak out. That's right, Walt. Not in Iowa. Not in Iowa. You might do it in New York. You ain't going to do it in Iowa. I just can't get it. I just can't get it. I guess I could never understand. Even when I lived in darkness, I couldn't understand how somebody could go and have an abortion and murder a baby. Even when I lived in darkness, I recognized that that was a baby, not a blob of tissue. There was an actual human being Lord have mercy. Well, I want to switch gears on you real quick. I want to go to another article from the Illinois Family Institute. That I really am looking at, like, what? And Jared, I'm going to send you another link while I'm talking, but it's pretty amazing that, did you know they have, I don't want to get this wrong, they have special police officers that investigate your thoughts, what you speak, what you say. They're called, and it's in the UK, of course. They're called community cohesion officers. This man, Harry Miller, he was investigated by the police for retweeting a transgender limerick. When I read it, I was like, spot on. I had to put it on my Facebook and my Twitter. And Harry Miller, 53, from Lincoln, was contacted on Wednesday by a community cohesion officer following a complaint that had been made about the plant and machinery dealer's social media posts. Citing 30 potentially offensive tweets, the PC singled out a limerick Mr. Miller had retweeted, which questioned whether transgender women are biological women. Of course, they're not women. They're men. Don't matter if they turn their Audi into an innie, they're still a man. Their DNA says so. So it included the lines, "Your breasts are made of silicone, your vagina goes nowhere." So that's truth. Doesn't go to a womb. They sure can't have babies. Even though no crime was committed, sharing the limerick online was recorded as a hate incident. This what do they call it? Community cohesion officer told Mr. Miller, "I've been on a course, and what you need to understand is that you can have a fetus with a female brain that grows male body parts, and that's what a transgender person is." That is the stupidest thing almost the stupidest thing one of the many stupidest things I've ever heard. One, and because I've heard that argument out in the streets when I was in Mansfield at their LGBTP parade, and they said, this young lady said to me, "Well, the brain develops before the genitals." So what? Who cares when the brain develops? Who cares if the brain develops? Your brain doesn't determine your gender, and pay attention here, your genitals don't determine your gender. Your DNA determines your gender, which then in turn determines your genitals. Your brain is neither male nor female. Your brain is just your brain. And if you got some wires loose, they can be fixed. Oh my goodness. Lord have mercy. Cop said, I wonder if I could go to this, because I would like to read the whole thing. Okay, 1. Harry the Owl, that's January 23rd, Jared. I clicked on January 23rd in that article, Jared, and it took me right to the list of posts that I was looking for. So, number one, got a call from director saying cops wanting to speak to me. He'd had sense not to give out my number, but said he'd pass on details. I rang. 2, spoke to PC from Humberside. Introduces himself as representing the LGBTQ, they forgot the P for pedophile, community on a report of hate speech by me. They found me by way of my company, had been all over the website and decided if I employed trans people at all, it was not a safe place for them and work should know. 3, cops said he was in possession of 30 tweets by me. I asked if any contained criminal material. He said no. I asked if any came close to being criminal, and he read me a limerick. Honestly, a limerick. A cop read me a limerick over the phone. 4, I said, I didn't write that. He said, but you liked it and promoted it. Can you just imagine? How stupid is this police officer? How stupid are the people that put this police officer and these laws into effect? Because they're probably not even laws. So, 4, I said, I didn't write that. He said, but you liked it and promoted it. I asked why he was wasting his time on a non-crime. He said, it's not a crime, but it will be recorded as a hate incident. I wonder how many recordings of a hate incident you have to get before it becomes punishable. 5, so I've added to a statistic, even though there is no crime, which brings me to my next point. The cop repeatedly called the complainant the victim. I asked how there could be a victim if, as he had established, there was no crime. He said, that's just how it works. You know, that kind of reminds me of when I was speaking to a transgender on the street. I didn't even know at first until he opened his mouth and I heard his voice. I didn't know that if it was a man or a woman because this individual looked so androgynous. And so I said, well, what are you, male or female? And he says, I am neither. And I was like, you can't be neither. You got to be one or the other. And he says, I am neither. And your offensive approach is, I feel, in violation. And I said, look, all you got to do is look in your underwear and you'll know if you're a male or a female, unless you've had some kind of surgery done. And he was really, and seriously, you could tell by his demeanor and his words and his actions and just from his fluster that he seriously was hurting. He seriously was offended. He felt violated. He felt like he was a victim. Because that's what the truth does. It victimizes the one who is not living in truth. So number 6 on Harry's list is, or am I on 5? No, 6. Number 6 was my comment was that by framing the complainant as victim, this made me, by default, a criminal. I asked him to resist from using it, meaning the term victim. 7, this is where it gets incredibly sinister. The cop told me that he needed to speak with me because, even though I'd committed no crime whatsoever, he needed, and I quote, to check my thinking. Seriously. Honestly, they want to police your thoughts. Number 8, finally, he lectured me. Said sometimes a woman's brain grows a man's body in the womb. And that is what transgender is. You can imagine my response, Harry says. 9, lastly, he told me that I needed to watch my words more carefully or I was at risk of being sacked by the company for hate speech. At which point I wished him well and said I needed to go and rinse my socks. 10, I'm fine, by the way. It's upset my wife far more than it's upset me, though, and this makes me angry as hell. I'm considering my response to the chief constable because blank them. This man, Harry Miller. He didn't even write the post. He didn't even write the post. However, he's being policed and he's being harassed because he liked a post and shared it, but he didn't even write it. Once again, I have to ask, can you not see where we are at? Can you not see that we are in a place right here, right now, that if you agree with me and share something I say on your social media, that you can be policed, that you can be harassed? I know those that are in the queue, I know you don't care. But those who listen to this show and don't join in the queue, the ones that do care, who knows that they're listening? Do you realize that you can't even, let alone share my thoughts and beliefs, but you're not allowed to have your own thoughts and beliefs unless they fall in line with their thoughts and beliefs. Their, meaning the board, right? And then how Vicky Joy Anderson explains it in The Emperor's New Gender in her afterword about the Borg, the Beelzebub, those who are funding and promoting and pushing this detestable, disgusting nonsense. And so I'm going to end the show today with a limerick. Thank you, Harry Miller. But if you think that you are transgender, you think that your brain is female, you've been lied to. You are a victim. You are a victim. You're not a victim of the truth, but you are a victim. You're a victim of the deceptive lies of the board that is feeding you this garbage and this nonsense because you are not a woman. Hey, Bruce Jenner, you are not a woman. You will never be a woman. Your breasts are made of silicone. Your vagina goes nowhere. That's how I'm ending the show, because that's the truth. Because it's not even a vagina. Medically, maybe, but really, technically, in truth, it's just a penis pushed inside. That's it. Lord willing. Oh, I won't be with you in the morning. J.R. Harrison of the Natural Family Institute, he will be with you, and he will be hosting the show for me tomorrow while I'm having a medical procedure done. And Lord willing, I will see you all Monday morning. And let's hope over the weekend I don't get policed and harassed by any cohesion officers. Love you guys. Peace.